Oh, honey, buckle up because Queen Camilla is fuming, and not in a polite royal way either. Prince Louis just casually swiped a prestigious royal title straight from under her grandson's nose. I mean, this was supposed to be Freddie's moment. Camilla had been scheming behind palace curtains for years, and now, boom, all that plotting gone in one royal whisper. Let's get into the tea, shall we? So here's what went down. The royal family dropped this tiny little line in a formal update, and oh, was it juicy. Like blink and you miss it small, but if you were paying attention, absolute bombshell. They basically revealed that Prince Louis, that cheeky little scene stealer with the silly faces at balcony events, just got handed a title so rare, so historic, it hasn't been used in decades. Before you ask, no, this isn't one of those cutesy kitty labels. Oh, no. This title has weight, influence. It carries royal bloodline power. We're talking legit upper echelon stuff here, not something they just sprinkle on toddlers for fun. Normally, these titles go to senior royals, people who've paid their dues, shaken 1,000 hands, opened hospitals, smiled through rainstorms. And yet, here comes Louis, William and Kate's youngest, the spare to the spare. 5 years old, still learning to tie his shoes, and bam, suddenly leapfrogging over royals who are not only older, but have actually been groomed for this kind of thing, including Camilla's grandson, yes, Freddie. Now you might be wondering, why Louis? Why would the crown bestow this high-tier honor on the youngest Windsor instead of someone like Freddie, who's been slowly inching closer to the spotlight over the years? And this, my friends, is where the real drama begins. Let's rewind. Since the day Camilla stepped into her role as queen consort, she's been playing a long, quiet game. See her own kids, Tom Parker Bowles and Laura Lopes, they've always been kept outside the royal fold. No titles, no duties, no royal clout. And the palace has been very clear about that. They are not working royals. They're not part of the firm. They are not even in the line of succession. But behind the scenes, ooh, Camilla's been doing some serious planting, quietly trying to groom her family into the royal picture. Just a nudge here and there, you know, not obvious, but just enough to make people go, wait, is that kid part of the royal gang now? You may have noticed her grandson Freddie popping up more at public events lately, Jubilee appearances, Windsor walkabouts, always placed just close enough to the royal action that people started whispering, hold on, who's that one? Trust me, that was no accident. Insiders say Camilla has been whispering in King Charles' ear for years, asking for a little something for Freddie. A ribbon, a medal, maybe even a baby title. Nothing outrageous. She wasn't asking for Lord Freddie or Fabulous, just a gesture, a sign that her family isn't just tolerated, but accepted. And hey, if you're married to the king, standing next to him at every event, wearing the diamonds, the sashes, the whole deal, why shouldn't your grandson get a little recognition? Right? At least, that's how Camilla saw it. But the firm? Oh, they weren't having any of it. Cold as ice. There's this unspoken wall between Charles's royal obligations and Camilla's family life. And when Louis, of all people, gets the very title Camilla's probably been dreaming of for Freddie, let's just say she did not take it well. Because this wasn't just a snub. This was a slap in the face. Camilla's quiet campaign got ignored, completely overshadowed by Kate's youngest, who probably doesn't even know what a title is yet. All that effort, gone. While little Louis, the royal rascal, gets the crown jewel of childhood titles. Can you imagine? It's like working toward a promotion for years, and then they give it to the intern who just got there and still thinks BCC means because chocolate cake. But deeper than that, for Camilla, this was about legacy. She wasn't just pushing for family clout. She was trying to cement her place, her lineage, into the royal structure. Not just queen consort and title, but matriarch of a family that matters. Now, Louis, he's been thrust into the spotlight, wearing a title that screams, "This is the future." And Camilla, she's been benched. Kate and Camilla's quiet tension, oh, it just erupted into a full-on royal tug-of-war. let's talk fallout. Because once that announcement hit, Camilla didn't just brush it off with a sip of tea and a polite nod. No. According to palace insiders, she was shaken, like visibly. One even said she looked white with rage. And listen, we're talking about a woman who's made a career out of smiling through scandal. So for her to crack, you know this one hit hard. It wasn't about Louis himself. She doesn't have a personal beef with the kid. In fact, she's been seen giggling with him at events. He's adorable. But it's what the move symbolized that stung. This was the palace sending a message, loud and clear. William and Kate's kids are the center of the monarchy's future. Diana's legacy, untouched, front and center, still the heart of it all. Meanwhile, Camilla's bloodline, still on the outside looking in, even with the crown on her head, Camilla's being reminded that she and her family are not part of that royal DNA. Her children and grandchildren, never gonna be woven into the firm. No matter how many garden parties or balcony photos they show up in, imagine that. You've clawed your way to the crown, you're inches from ultimate power, and yet you're still being treated like the outsider, while a 5-year-old with sticky fingers and a cheeky grin gets handed the very thing you've been fighting for in whispers. Oof, that's gotta burn. But the worst part? That title went to Diana's grandson, the very family line Camilla has been quietly trying to compete with for decades. This wasn't just a title, it was a massive royal mic drop. It flipped the power dynamic right under her nose. Now, let's flip the royal script for a second, because while Camilla was low-key spiraling behind palace doors, William and Kate, oh, they were playing chess while everyone else was playing checkers. They didn't need to scream it from the rooftops, no press blitz, no big flashy moment, just a quiet, calculated move behind the scenes, because trust and believe, this title Louis got, it wasn't a coincidence. It wasn't last minute, it was planned. Sources close to the palace say William's been working behind the curtain for months, maybe even years, to lock this down for Louis. A move straight from the royal playbook. Except this time, he was writing the rules. And you know what? It wasn't about being petty. It wasn't about stealing the spotlight from Camilla. It was about one thing, protecting Diana's legacy. William has always been vocal about keeping his mother's memory alive, not just in speeches, but in how he raises his kids, how he shapes their image, and yes, how he positions them within the monarchy. Giving Louis this rare and historic title, that was William's way of saying, this is my mother's line, this is her future, not yours, Camilla. Not your grandkids, not your legacy. It was subtle, sure. Just a line in a briefing. No press conference, no royal portrait, just a footnote. But make no mistake, it was intentional. This was a move on the royal chessboard, clean and strategic. It was about placing Diana's grandchildren at the very center of the royal future, without even having to say a word. And while the public was out here gushing over little Louis and his adorable title bump, Camilla saw through it all. She saw exactly what this meant. That all her behind-the-scenes maneuvering had just been wiped clean, like it never happened. That her family, her efforts, her long game were being silently erased. Because Louis didn't just get a title, he got a statement. One that screamed, we're building the monarchy around this bloodline, around Diana's legacy. And Camilla, she was nowhere in that blueprint. So now, behind all those carefully staged royal smiles and polite public waves, the tension is sizzling. Oh, don't be fooled by the pearls and polite curtsies. This war is on. And trust me, Camilla's not about to let this one fade into the palace wallpaper.
I can't remember anybody except the Queen being there.
And y'all, it gets even messier, because ever since this title bombshell dropped, Camilla and Kate's relationship, woof, it has gone from smiling for the cameras polite to straight up icy, like frostbite level cold. They were never besties to begin with, but now they can barely fake the niceties. Sources say even the most basic royal interactions between the two women are strained. Staff at the palace, oh, they've noticed. They're whispering. You can't hide that kind of chill in a room full of professionals trained to read body language for a living. And look, it's not just about the title, it's about what that title represents. Camilla is feeling shut out, and more than that, she's realizing that her family is slowly being erased from the royal future. That sting runs deep. One palace insider even heard her mutter under her breath, "It's like my family doesn't even exist." Can you imagine the queen consort? The queen feeling that invisible, that expendable. The line's been drawn. On one side, William, Kate, George, Charlotte, Louis, the chosen heirs, the heart of the monarchy's future. On the other, Camilla and her children, watching from the royal sidelines. And with Louis's title now shimmering in the royal spotlight, that dividing line, it's as clear as day. So here's the real kicker. This title Louis got, It wasn't just some cutesy upgrade for the youngest royal. Oh no. It was a red flag, depending on where you stand. If you're Team Camilla, this was a gut punch. If you're Team Diana, it was a silent but savage win. So now the question becomes, was this a petty move by William and Kate, or a brilliant play to protect the crown from chaos? Is it ruthless, or is it just royal reality? Should Camilla's family have a real seat at the table, or was this always going to be Diana's dynasty no matter what? Let me know in the comments, y'all, because if you think this drama's over, oh sweetie, we're just getting started.